Ethan had spent months on the Leora station, orbiting the vibrant green and blue planet below. The station was a hub for traders, scientists, and explorers from across the galaxy. For humans like him, it was both exciting and intimidating. Humans were still new in this sector, and many alien species looked at them with curiosity, skepticism, or sometimes amusement. Ethan was a scientist, more interested in observations than politics, but he couldn't ignore the whispers that humans were underestimated almost everywhere they went. He worked in the station's research wing, analyzing energy signatures from nearby planets. One evening, while reviewing readings from a secluded corridor, he noticed something unusual. The energy was fluctuating in ways he had never seen before. He frowned, adjusting his tablet to get a clearer reading. The pattern was rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat, and yet it didn't match any known biological or technological signature. He had a sense that someone, or something, was deliberately manipulating energy, but who and why? As he stared at the readings, a soft sound interrupted his thoughts. A gentle hum, almost melodic, came from behind him. Ethan turned quickly, expecting a maintenance bot or another scientist. Instead, he found himself face to face with a young alien girl. Her skin shimmered with a translucent glow, reflecting the soft lights of the corridor. Bioluminescent patterns shifted along her arms and neck, like liquid light flowing in delicate streams. Her eyes were large, bright, and curious, observing him with an intensity that made him feel both nervous and intrigued. "Ethan," she said, her voice soft but certain. "I've been waiting for you. But you will remember me." Her gaze swept past him toward the far end of the corridor, where a door he had never noticed before glowed faintly. "I want to show you something very few beings have seen." Yet something about Lyra's presence felt different. There was no hostility, only quiet confidence, and the curiosity he felt in his chest was stronger than his caution. "Okay," he said finally. "Lead the way." Soft waves of color moved beneath the surface, responding to Lyra's presence. Ethan's pulse quickened. He had seen advanced technology before, but this felt almost alive, like the station itself was breathing around them. Finally, they reached the door. Lyra extended a delicate hand, and the door slid open silently, revealing a room that seemed to hum with life. Ethan stepped inside, his mouth slightly open. The walls pulsed with soft, changing colors that seemed to respond to his emotions. Floating orbs of light drifted through the air, rotating lazily as if observing him. A faint, melodic resonance filled the room, a sound that made his chest feel warm and calm at the same time. "This is my room," Lyra said, her voice barely above a whisper. "It is not just a place. It is a space of energy, of thought, of feeling. Here you can experience something beyond what the body alone can sense. I call it the harmony of being. It responds to thought, emotion, memory. Focus your mind. Think of something happy, something you love, and watch what happens." The colors intensified, weaving together in a soft, dancing pattern. The orbs glowed brighter, and the air itself seemed alive with energy. Ethan's heart raced with awe. Lyra watched him closely, her patterns shifting in excitement. "Humans have a gift," she said softly. "Your emotions are rich. They carry energy that is unusual in this galaxy. Many species manipulate energy through technology or natural ability. Humans, you do it through feeling. You can create, explore, and feel here in ways others cannot." She stepped closer, her fingers trailing along a glowing panel that seemed to hum in response. "I want to teach you, if you are willing." "Then let us begin." It was not just visual or auditory, it was physical, emotional, almost spiritual. "You see," Lyra said, "pleasure is not always something the body feels. It can be something the mind senses, something energy recognizes. It is harmony, resonance, and awareness. Even fewer understand. Most would fear it or dismiss it as magic. But here it is science and art combined. It is life itself in its purest form." Each time the room responded, creating waves of color and light, subtle vibrations that made him feel alive in ways he had never imagined. Lyra guided him patiently, showing how energy could be shaped not with machines, but with attention and intention. She revealed that she had spent years studying this phenomenon, but human creativity and emotional depth made a difference she had never seen with any other species. Ethan felt a growing sense of awe. He had always thought humans were limited in the galaxy, small and fragile compared to alien civilizations. But here, in Lyra's room, he saw something different. Humans had the power to interact with the universe itself, to create experiences that no technology or natural talent alone could achieve. When they paused to rest, Ethan looked around at the soft, glowing space. "It's beautiful," he said simply. "I never thought something like this could exist, not even in my wildest dreams." And now you have seen one, but this is only the beginning. There is more to learn, more to experience. Pleasure beyond flesh is not just sensation. It is understanding, connection, and the joy of discovery. Humans might be new, small, and underestimated, but in this room, he felt the potential of his kind in a way that no battle, treaty, or technology could ever show. As he left the room later, guided by Lyra back through the quiet corridors, Ethan realized that curiosity had led him to this moment, but it was courage and openness that allowed him to experience it fully. The universe was far larger and stranger than he had imagined, and humans, small as they were in the galaxy, had something rare, a gift for feeling, imagining, and connecting that could reach even the stars. Lyra paused at the door leading back to the main station. Her patterns shimmered softly, reflecting pride and excitement. "Tomorrow," she said, "we will explore further. There are layers of experience, ways of connecting energy and thought that even I have not fully mastered. And with you, it will be different. You will teach me as much as I teach you." He had followed curiosity into the unknown, but what he had discovered was more than new knowledge. It was the possibility of something greater. Humans had arrived in the galaxy as outsiders, but perhaps it was their emotions, their creativity, and their openness that made them unique. For the first time in a long while, Ethan felt not just a sense of wonder at the universe, but a sense of pride in himself and his species. He understood that the journey ahead was not about conquest or survival alone. It was about discovering, creating, and sharing beauty in ways that no one else could. And he could not wait to return to Lyra's secret room tomorrow. The next day, Ethan returned to the secluded corridor, his mind buzzing with anticipation. The memory of the previous night's experience lingered in him, coloring every thought with wonder. The station around him seemed dull in comparison to the glowing, living space Lyra had shown him. He couldn't stop thinking about the room, the floating orbs, and the way it had responded to his emotions. It was unlike any technology, any alien biology, or anything humans had ever created. When he arrived, Lyra was already waiting, standing near the door to her secret room. Her translucent skin shimmered softly under the station lights, the bioluminescent patterns on her arms flowing in delicate waves. She greeted him with a quiet nod, and the faint glow of her presence seemed to pull him toward her. "Good," she said softly. "You came early. That is a good sign. Curiosity is useful, but patience and focus are even more important. I've been thinking about the room all night. How it responds, it's incredible. Most cannot understand themselves enough to interact with it. You will see how humans have a natural gift that even I did not expect." He walked slowly, observing every detail, marveling at the subtle ways the space responded to him. Lyra motioned toward a platform in the center of the room. It was circular, slightly raised, with soft, glowing edges. "Stand there," she instructed. "Close your eyes and focus. Today we will begin the first exercise of resonance. You will learn how to connect your thoughts and feelings directly to the energy around you." But slowly he concentrated on a memory that made him feel proud, his first successful experiment on Earth when he had solved a problem no one else could. Immediately the room responded. The walls shimmered, a wave of gold and blue spreading across the surface. The floating orbs began to rotate more energetically, moving as if drawn by his thoughts. Ethan opened his eyes and gasped. He could see the energy responding to him in real time, flowing with his focus and intention. Lyra watched him closely. "Good, now try to shape it. Do not just feel, direct it. Imagine a form, a pattern, a flow. The energy will follow your mind." As he focused, the room shifted. Softly at first, then more clearly, he could see the shapes forming in the space around him. The orbs moved along the bridges, and the colors of the walls matched the island's glow. His breath caught in wonder. I'm doing it," he whispered. "It's real. And you do it in a way I could not have predicted. Humans create through imagination. That is your strength. Your mind and heart together produce energy that is unusual." But here he realized that human imagination was powerful in ways that measurement, strength, or technology alone could not replicate. Humans could connect emotion, thought, and action, creating effects no one else could. Lyra moved closer, her eyes reflecting the floating islands. "You see, pleasure beyond flesh is not about sensation alone. It is about creating, observing, and connecting. It is joy born from understanding and interaction. It is the universe responding to your being. Humans, you are different. You feel, and that makes a difference. Ethan was amazed at how much control he could gain, not through strength or skill, but through focus and emotional clarity. He experimented with creating landscapes, subtle movements of light, and even simple animations within the room. The floating orbs responded instantly, moving in patterns he envisioned. The walls shimmered in harmony with his intentions, the colors blending and shifting like a living painting. Each success filled him with excitement, and he laughed quietly at the sheer wonder of it. Lyra watched him closely, occasionally offering guidance. Try to expand your focus. Include more than just your mind. Your body, your emotions, your memories, all of it is energy. Combine them. This is incredible, he said breathlessly. I've never felt anything like it. I didn't think humans could do this. I mean, we are new and small in the galaxy, but we can do this. You bring joy to the universe just by being able to connect like this. Humans could shape the universe itself, if only they understood how to use their gifts. Lyra guided him further, showing him how small changes in focus could produce large effects in the room. By concentrating on subtle feelings like gratitude or wonder, Ethan could create waves of energy that moved through the space like gentle currents. He realized that the pleasure of this room was not in speed, power, or spectacle. It was in subtlety, observation, and participation. Hours passed, and Ethan lost track of time. Each experiment brought new surprises. He created floating gardens, swirling light patterns, and even abstract representations of music and memory. Each time the room responded instantly, amplifying his thoughts and feelings into visible and tangible energy. By the end of the session, Ethan was exhausted but exhilarated. He collapsed onto the soft, glowing floor, looking up at the floating orbs drifting lazily above him. I never imagined anything like this could exist, he said softly. Lyra sat beside him, her patterns shimmering in quiet satisfaction. And yet it exists, not just because of me, but because of you. You bring the human mind and heart to it, and that changes everything. This is only the beginning. There is more to explore, more to create, and more to feel. Tomorrow, we will go further. You will see how far imagination and emotion can reach. As he left the room, guided by Lyra back through the quiet corridors, Ethan felt a sense of wonder and pride. Humans might be underestimated, but here, in this secret room, he had discovered that their creativity, emotions, and imagination were powerful enough to shape reality itself. And tomorrow, he would return, ready to learn even more. Ethan awoke the next morning with a mixture of excitement and nervous anticipation. The memory of the previous day's discoveries in Lyra's room still thrummed in his mind like a soft, persistent hum. He had learned that humans could influence energy through emotion, imagination, and focus, and that realization filled him with awe. Today, he knew, would take him even deeper into this strange, beautiful world. When he arrived at the secluded corridor where Lyra waited, she greeted him with her usual calm confidence. Her patterns shimmered in soft, flowing waves, reflecting subtle shades of green and blue. "Good morning, Ethan," she said. "I hope you slept well. Today we will explore the next layer of resonance, connection, not just with the room, but with another being. Now you will see how shared focus can create something greater than either of you alone." Lyra guided him to focus again, starting with something simple, a shared memory. "Think of a memory that makes you happy," she instructed. "I will do the same. Then try to connect your thoughts, letting them flow toward one another. The room will respond to the harmony of both energies." He thought of his first successful experiment on Earth, the feeling of pride and satisfaction that had filled him as he solved a complex problem no one else could. At the same time, he sensed Lyra focusing beside him, her energy flowing outward. Slowly, subtly, he felt a pull, a gentle intertwining of their thoughts. When he opened his eyes, he gasped. The room had changed. The colors on the walls swirled together, forming shapes he could not have created alone. Floating orbs moved in intricate patterns, connecting one to another like threads in a living tapestry. It was as if the energy of two minds, human and alien, had merged to produce something entirely new. "This is amazing," Ethan whispered. "It's like our thoughts, they're working together. You enhance the resonance of other beings, not just the room." The room responded instantly, blending their visions into a single living environment. The colors danced, the orbs moved in complex formations, and the air vibrated softly with energy. Ethan laughed, overwhelmed by the beauty of it. "It's alive. The room feels alive when we do this together. Energy responds to presence, intention, and emotion. The stronger the connection, the more vivid the manifestation. Humans had a natural ability to enhance these energies through their imagination and emotions, and Lyra had shown him the key to unlocking that potential. As the day progressed, they moved on to more complex exercises. Lyra instructed Ethan to focus not just on memories or imagination, but on feelings that were subtle and layered. Gratitude, wonder, curiosity, and joy, each emotion created a different response in the room. When they combined their feelings, the room became a symphony of light, color, and movement, a living reflection of their shared consciousness. Ethan found himself completely absorbed. He realized that the pleasure he was experiencing was not about physical sensation, but about connection and creation. It was about the joy of seeing his thoughts and emotions reflected and amplified, about discovering the beauty of shared focus. At one point, Lyra suggested a new exercise. "Try to create something that neither of us has imagined alone," she said. "Combine your memories, your hopes, your imagination. Let the room guide you. You will see that together, we can create forms of beauty and energy that no single being could produce." At the same time, he sensed Lyra's mind contributing to the vision, weaving intricate patterns of light and motion into his own creations. When he opened his eyes, he was speechless. The room had transformed into a breathtaking landscape, more vivid and alive than anything he could have imagined alone. Floating orbs moved through the city like living guides, colors shifted to reflect emotion and intention, and a gentle hum filled the air, resonating with their combined energy. "It's beautiful," Ethan whispered, his voice trembling. "I've never seen anything like this." Humans are capable of this in ways few species are. Your creativity, empathy, and imagination enhance the energy of others. That is why you are remarkable. The realization filled him with a sense of purpose. He was part of something greater, a living testament to the power of human potential. As the session continued, Ethan learned to manipulate more subtle forms of energy. He could create gentle currents that flowed through the room, guiding the orbs and shaping the light with barely a thought. Lyra encouraged him to experiment, to explore the limits of his focus and imagination. With each attempt, the room responded, amplifying his efforts and creating patterns of beauty that seemed almost magical. Hours passed without either of them noticing. The day outside the secret room faded into the station's quiet night. Ethan was exhausted but exhilarated, his mind buzzing with the possibilities of what he had learned. He realized that the room was more than a tool or a space. It was a reflection of the mind, a mirror of creativity and emotion. And humans, with their unique combination of imagination and empathy, had a power that few in the galaxy could match. Lyra sat beside him on the glowing platform, her patterns pulsing gently. "You have done well today," she said. "You have learned to connect, to enhance, to create with another mind. That is a lesson few beings ever understand. Humans, you are extraordinary in ways even you cannot fully realize." He had come here expecting to study energy, but he had discovered something far greater, the potential of humans to shape reality, to create beauty, and to connect with others in profound ways. I didn't know humans could do this," he said softly. "I always thought we were small, weak, and overlooked, but here, it feels like we have something no one else does." It is not strength or technology that makes humans remarkable. It is your mind, your heart, and your creativity. You bring joy and energy to the universe in ways that even the most advanced beings cannot. That is why the room responds so well to you. And that is why I want to continue teaching you. There is still so much more to explore. The first day had been astonishing, but this second day had opened his eyes to something even deeper. Humans were capable of connection, creation, and beauty that could resonate across species and space itself. And he could not wait to continue learning, to push the boundaries of what he and Lyra could achieve together. As they left the secret room, the corridor seemed quiet and ordinary compared to the wonders they had just created. Yet Ethan knew that the power he had discovered was real, and it was part of him. He was no longer just a human among aliens. He was a participant in something extraordinary, a being capable of creating energy, beauty, and connection beyond what he had ever imagined. Lyra paused at the door, turning to him with a soft smile. "Tomorrow, we will go even further. You will learn to influence not just the room or shared energy, but the way energy interacts with life itself. That is the next step in understanding pleasure beyond flesh. And with you, it will be extraordinary." He had no idea what the next day would bring, but he knew one thing for certain. Humans were capable of far more than anyone had believed, and he was ready to explore every possibility. As he returned to his quarters, the memory of the glowing, living room stayed with him. He could feel the energy of their creations lingering in his mind, like a spark waiting to grow. Humans might be new in the galaxy, small and underestimated, but here in Lyra's room, he had discovered that they had something powerful, the ability to connect, create, and inspire. And that power, he realized, could change everything. Ethan woke early again, his mind already racing with anticipation. The lessons from the previous days lingered like a soft echo in his thoughts. He had learned to connect with the room, to shape energy with his emotions, and to combine his mind with Lyra to create extraordinary manifestations. Today, he felt they would go further. Lyra was waiting at the corridor as usual. Her bioluminescent patterns pulsed softly, shifting in colors that reflected curiosity and calm. "Good morning," she said. "Are you ready to expand your focus?" Humans have the ability to influence not only the room, but the energy of living things around them, if they are aware and focused. Lyra began with a demonstration. She closed her eyes and focused on a single thought, a memory of joy from her own life. Slowly, the room responded. Colors flowed outward from her in soft streams, forming intricate patterns on the walls. The floating orbs rotated in rhythm with her attention, creating a living mosaic that was breathtaking in its complexity. "Do you see?" she asked softly. Energy is not static. It moves with thought, emotion, and attention. But what humans can do is different. You can shape subtle energy, not just in this room, but in life itself. You can influence patterns, flow, and connection in ways I have never seen before. Imagine a simple pattern and let your mind flow freely. Do not think about control or perfection, just feel and create. The colors shifted to match his vision, forming the river and the trees. The orbs moved in delicate arcs, following invisible currents of energy he had created. He opened his eyes, astonished. "It's perfect! I didn't think I could do this." "The room amplifies what you already bring." Lyra encouraged him to explore, to push boundaries, and to allow his creativity to flow without restraint. At one point, Lyra suggested something new. "Now combine subtle feelings, gratitude, wonder, curiosity with imagination. See how the room responds when you focus on emotions that are not extreme but nuanced. This is where humans excel. Your ability to feel deeply in layers enhances resonance more than any alien technology or ability." Slowly, the room began to respond in complex ways. The walls shimmered with layered colors, the orbs traced intricate paths, and soft, melodic vibrations filled the air. This is amazing," Ethan whispered. "It's like the room is alive in a way I didn't understand before." Your minds and hearts can influence energy in ways even I cannot replicate alone. You bring subtlety, creativity, and empathy, and that enhances the resonance of the room. They combined ideas, memories, and emotions, letting the room interpret and amplify their shared vision. Slowly, a floating city formed in the space, suspended in midair. Its towers glowed with soft light, connected by bridges of pure energy. Gardens floated between the buildings, alive with light and gentle motion. Ethan and Lyra observed in silence. The room responded instantly to their thoughts and feelings, merging imagination and emotion into something extraordinary. The orbs moved like living guides, tracing paths that reflected their shared energy. Colors shifted with subtlety, responding to emotion and intention, creating an experience that was not just seen or heard, but felt deeply in the chest, mind, and heart. "I can't believe this is real," Ethan whispered. "It feels alive, like it's breathing." It is the joy of seeing energy respond to life itself. Every attempt was met with a vivid response from the room, amplifying his efforts in ways that filled him with awe. At one point, Lyra guided him to focus on the idea of influence, not just creation. "Think about how your energy touches life," she said. "Not the room alone, but the living beings around you. Humans can influence others subtly through thought, emotion, and creativity. You enhance resonance beyond yourself. That is a power few species recognize." Ethan felt a thrill of understanding. Humans were not just capable of influencing the room, they were capable of amplifying energy in life itself. He looked at Lyra, astonished. "So, we can help others feel energy, joy, and connection, not just create patterns in the room." Humans are capable of enhancing life itself through thought, emotion, and creativity. That is why you are remarkable. The universe responds to your presence, even in subtle ways, and when shared with others, it creates joy, inspiration, and beauty. He had learned to shape subtle energy, combine imagination and emotion, and influence life through connection. He had discovered that human creativity and empathy could enhance resonance in ways no alien species could achieve alone. As they left the secret room, Lyra paused at the door. Tomorrow, we will explore the final layer, the harmony of shared experience at its fullest. You will see how humans and aliens together can create energy and joy that reaches far beyond the physical. And you, Ethan, are at the center of it. The knowledge filled him with pride and anticipation. Walking back through the station corridors, he reflected on everything he had learned. Humans might be newcomers, but their creativity, empathy, and imagination gave them a unique place in the galaxy. They could connect, create, and inspire in ways that transcended technology, biology, or species. And with Lyra's guidance, he was only beginning to understand the true potential of his kind. As night fell on the station, Ethan lay in his quarters, replaying the day's lessons in his mind. He could still feel the energy of the room, the floating city, the currents of light, and the subtle vibrations that had filled the space. He realized that the pleasure beyond flesh was not about sensation alone. It was about connection, creation, and shared understanding. Humans, with their minds and hearts, could achieve it in ways no one else could. And tomorrow, he would continue the journey, ready to explore the ultimate expression of harmony, joy, and connection. Ethan woke with a sense of quiet excitement. Today was different from the previous days. He felt it in his chest, a steady pulse of anticipation. For the past several days, he had explored the secret room, learning to shape energy, to connect with Lyra, and to bring imagination and emotion together to create beauty that seemed alive. Now Lyra had promised the ultimate lesson, the full harmony of shared experience, a pleasure beyond flesh in its purest form. When he arrived at the corridor, Lyra was already waiting, her soft, bioluminescent patterns flowing like liquid light. She smiled at him, a mix of calm and pride. Today, Ethan, you will learn to extend resonance beyond the room itself. You will see how humans, when aware and focused, can influence life, energy, and perception in ways even advanced civilizations rarely understand. Are you ready? The walls pulsed softly, the floating orbs moved lazily, and the air thrummed with a gentle resonance. It was familiar, yet different, like the room sensed that something extraordinary was about to happen. Lyra gestured toward the central platform. Stand here, close your eyes, focus, and let your mind open. Today is not about control, perfection, or expectation. It is about presence, connection, and creation. You will shape energy, but also life itself, through intention and imagination. Memories of his home on Earth, the excitement of discovery, and the thrill of human achievement flowed together. He felt Lyra's energy blending with his, gentle yet vibrant, intertwining like two streams of light. Now, Lyra whispered, focus on shared creation. Imagine a world, a place that neither of us has seen alone. Let your mind, heart, and imagination combine. At the same time, he felt Lyra contributing, weaving intricate patterns of motion, subtle vibrations, and floating structures that added layers of depth he could not have imagined alone. When he opened his eyes, the room had transformed. The walls and orbs had become a living universe, a fully realized ecosystem of energy and imagination. Mountains rose and shifted, rivers flowed in iridescent currents, and floating islands glided through the air like living dreams. The orbs moved in purposeful arcs, tracing paths that reflected their combined thoughts and emotions. Light, color, and sound intertwined seamlessly, creating a living symphony. Ethan gasped. It's alive. More alive than anything I've ever imagined. Humans were often dismissed in the galaxy as weak or insignificant, yet here he was, creating something that rivaled the achievements of countless civilizations. He realized that the power of humanity was not in weapons, technology, or physical strength. It was in empathy, imagination, and the ability to connect. Lyra guided him further. Now, extend your influence beyond the room. Imagine life, energy, and connection outside these walls. See how your intention and emotion ripple outward, touching others. He imagined subtle joy, inspiration, and curiosity reaching those around him. Even without leaving the secret space, he felt their awareness subtly shift, as if the energy of connection and creativity was shared without words. It's working, he whispered. I can feel it, like life itself is responding. Humans do not need machines to amplify energy or influence life. Your empathy, creativity, and awareness are enough. You bring harmony, inspiration, and joy. That is the essence of pleasure beyond flesh, connection that transcends the physical. Ethan learned to guide energy gently, shaping currents that flowed like wind through the room, creating subtle shifts in light and motion that reflected emotions both shared and individual. Lyra introduced exercises where they combined memories and hopes, not only of themselves, but of humanity's potential, channeling collective imagination into living energy. Ethan was amazed at the results. The room became a dynamic landscape of shared consciousness, responding instantly to emotion, thought, and intention. Bridges of light connected floating islands, rivers shimmered with glowing colors, and gardens bloomed in patterns that mirrored memories, dreams, and joy. Every wave of energy, every subtle shift in emotion, created feedback, enhancing their experience in ways neither could predict alone. At one point, Lyra spoke softly. "See how humans and aliens together can enhance life, creativity, and joy. Your species has a rare gift, the ability to harmonize with others, to shape energy through empathy and imagination. Even the most advanced alien technology cannot replicate this." As the session progressed, they experimented with creating worlds together, floating cities, forests of light, oceans that shimmered with emotion. Every creation was a reflection of shared resonance, a testament to what two minds could achieve when open, empathetic, and creative. Ethan laughed quietly at the beauty of it, amazed that imagination and emotion could produce such tangible effects. Lyra guided him through one final exercise. "Now combine all you have learned, connect fully with the room, with me, and with the life and energy around you. Focus on the joy of creation itself, not the result. Let intention, imagination, and empathy flow freely." He felt the currents of the room, Lyra's energy, and his own intentions intertwining. Memories, hopes, and emotions merged into a single, harmonious wave. He imagined beauty, joy, and connection flowing outward, touching life across the station and beyond. The room responded in ways he had never experienced before. Colors, light, and movement merged into an overwhelming symphony of energy, vibrant and alive, as if the universe itself were celebrating their harmony. When he opened his eyes, he saw Lyra smiling softly, her patterns glowing with quiet pride. "You have done it," she said. "You have reached the ultimate level of resonance. This is pleasure beyond flesh, not sensation alone, but connection, creation, and shared understanding. Humans are capable of it naturally. Your species brings beauty to life itself." Humans had a unique ability to harmonize with life, to enhance energy and emotion, and to create beauty that transcended technology and biology. He realized that humans' value in the galaxy was not measured by strength or conquest, but by empathy, imagination, and creativity. They could inspire, enhance, and connect in ways no other species could replicate. And he felt proud not just as an individual but as a representative of his kind. Lyra placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Remember this, Ethan. Humans are underestimated, yes, but that is because most do not recognize their true potential. Your mind, heart, and imagination are extraordinary. Share this gift, explore it, and help others see the beauty of connection and creation." The universe was vast, full of wonders, but he knew that humans had a role unlike any other, a role that went beyond technology, survival, or conquest. They could touch life, create harmony, and inspire joy wherever they went. Back in his quarters, Ethan reflected on everything he had learned. He thought of the floating cities, glowing rivers, and gardens of light. He remembered how the room had responded to his emotions and imagination, how it had amplified and harmonized them with Lyra's energy. And he realized that the true lesson was not about the room itself, but about humans, their creativity, empathy, and ability to connect. For the first time, Ethan felt a deep sense of pride in humanity. They were not just newcomers, fragile and underestimated. They were creators, connectors, and harmonizers. They could bring joy, inspiration, and energy to life itself. And that was a power unlike any other in the galaxy. Lyra's words echoed in his mind. "Humans are extraordinary. Share this gift, explore it, and help others see the beauty of connection and creation." He would continue to learn, to create, and to share this understanding. The secret room had taught him the ultimate lesson, that pleasure beyond flesh was not about physical sensation, but about connection, imagination, and the joy of life itself. Humans, small as they might appear, could shape the universe with their minds and hearts. And he felt ready for whatever came next, knowing that the journey of discovery and creation had only just begun.